Jack Spade back here with you, High Noon Leatherworks, for another leather adventure. And today I'm going to do a new project I've never done before. That seems to be the theme. And what I'm going to do is create a couple of no buckle belts. And I've been seeing these on the internet, and also my wife saw them on the internet. She said, "Hey, I hate wearing a belt because of the buckle." So she said, "Is there any way you can make me a set of those?" So I was like, "Oh, I can probably do that and make a video of it." So today that's what I'm going to try to accomplish. I'm going to try to make a couple of these no buckle belts. And if you've seen them, what they are is they're most of them are either made out of nylon or leather, and what they do is they go in your two belt loops here in the front on your hip on the sides. You put one on this side, one on this side, and you close it with velcro, and then you can adjust it as tight or as loose as you want. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to attempt to make those, put some velcro on this leather, and we'll see how that turns out. So come on in and let's get started. All right, I think I finally got this new camera figured out. Let's hope I did. Somebody pointed out that on a couple of videos ago that we traveled back in time because it still had a timestamp on it, and it was from back in 23 or something. So anyway, I got that off of there. It's a process trying to figure this stuff out for me. So I think we've got it. We'll see how this one works. So I've got two strips. This is pre-dyed black leather. It is 6 to 8 ounce. And the first thing we want to do is try to fit this as to a length. And you don't want to get it too long, or you won't have enough to tighten your belt loops together. So it looks like probably there would be plenty. So I'm just kind of dry fitting this and making a mark here, just grabbing it with my hand between my finger and my thumb and telling me where I need to cut that off at. I am going to use a rounded punch. Try to make these look fairly nice here. And I've got my poly cutting board that I'm going to cut against. So there's my rounded end on one end. I'm going to dry fit that again just to make sure. And I do have a belt on, but that's the way you would wear it, and you'd wear one on each side. All right, so there's the other end, and then I want to measure that. That's what I want to do on my other one. Make it the same length. Now this other one has a small scar on it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take that scar out of there. So I'll just barely go below that. And then we'll make these the exact same length It won't hurt for it to be just a hair shorter. But I do want to make a set. So, it's going to be about another inch shorter than that. Which I have plenty of leather here. So let's go ahead and let's take a look and let's get an idea of how long these are. These are right at 13.5 inches long. So they're 13.5 inches long. The Velcro that I got, I actually bought a whole pack of this a while back at a thrift store, and it hadn't been opened or anything. And there's, I bet there's probably 10 sets in here, and they're, let's see, they are 1 inch wide by 4 3/4 inches long, and the width on this is 1 1/8 on these leather straps. So 13.5 by 1 1/8, and then my Velcro. You see, these came in sets. You could buy this at any craft store, Walmart, Amazon, but this looks like it's pretty nice Velcro. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. These go through the loops and then come back on one another to latch. So I'm probably not going to be able to use the whole entire set of Velcro. So I think I'll want to have a little bit of adjustment. But let's go 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark that at 3.5. And go ahead and cut that down. Now I'll need one for each strap. So I'll cut another one at 3.5. And that'll give me 2 sets there. Set all the extra to the side. And then this Velcro has adhesive on it. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it easy for me to place this where I want it before I try to stitch it on there. So let's go ahead and peel off one side. That is really sticky. And then let's peel off the other side. Now the Velcro is still attached to one another, and I can fold this over on top of the other side. Now that's what it would look like after it was folded over and attached. So I'm just going to squeeze that adhesive down. We'll do the same on the other side. And again, I'm just peeling off that waxed paper off of that adhesive. And I am going pretty close to the end. Obviously, I don't want it sticking over on the rounded edge, but peel that paper off, then we can go ahead and fold it over just like we did the other one and squeeze it down. Set that in there. Now let's go take a look at our other one. And then there's our velcro. Now I'm going to see if I could stitch this in on a machine. This is pretty thick. I'm not going to rely on adhesive or glue. I am going to stitch this in here, but I want to try to do it with a machine. And I have my hand crank machine, but this is going to have to be a pretty precise stitch. So let me get the machine out, and it's just a standard sewing machine, and let me get it ready, and then I'll be back. I've got my machine set up. I've got it threaded with black thread. I'm going to attempt to do this 6 to 8 ounce, probably closer to 6 on this machine. It's just a Brother fabric machine, but we'll see how it goes here. Try to stitch it down the edge. Now I'll go ahead and put my needle in, and I'm going to spin this and then drop it again, my foot. Do the same thing when I come back, leave my needle in, spin it, come back the other way, so it does a pretty good job. Once it gets going, it seems to like the speed. And then I'll back it up, lock that stitch in, and then let's see what we ended up with here. If I can get my bobbin thread to start coming out there. There we go. And then let's cut that off. And let's see what we ended up with. Very nice stitch. Made it nice and tight. Remember, I've got that adhesive all over the back of that, and then I ran that stitch all the way around the edge. You can probably see it in the light on this side, on the back side. So let's go ahead and do this side. See how this side does. This type of Velcro here. This is the hook part. And you may need to give it a little help hand crank getting it started. And the wear and tear on this machine is, I'm sure, is not great for this machine, but the machine is inexpensive. I don't use it for this all the time. I might be more concerned. I wouldn't go any thicker metal or I wouldn't go any thicker leather than this for sure on this machine. So let's double check this stitch on this side. Get it trimmed up. And that turned out pretty good too. Nice and straight. Nice and secure on the corners. So let's see how it reacts when we put those two together and try to take them apart. That's the key. Is it gonna be strong enough? Oh yeah, that works really good. So there's one of them. Let's set that aside and grab the second one. Let's see if we can continue to have good luck putting this together. I'm going to move this one just a hair over to put it more centered. And again, it seems like sometimes I may have to give it a little twist by hand to get it to take off. But once it takes off, it seems to do fine. Let's, again, I'm leaving that needle down. And just lifting the foot and spinning that around so that I get a nice square corner. Seems like if I leave that needle down, turn that around, I get a real nice square, and it starts up much nicer than leaving the needle up to start it. So trim all this off on both sides. You saw I locked my stitch in there at the end and went back about 4 or 5 stitches and then came forward. So trim that off. That turned out real nice. It's on there nice and secure, and I'm only stitching out here on this edge. Let's turn it around. Let's see if we can get one last good result here. Turn it. Alright, that should be my last piece. Let me trim these threads off. We'll double check this one just like we did the other one. Make sure we have good solid stitching on there. And we'll put the Velcro pieces together. Excellent. So let's go ahead and try these on and see how they work. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take my belt off, lay it aside, and let's go ahead and take one of these Velcro pieces, or no buckle belts, and put it through the first two belt loops. Now remember, I've got one for the other side too. I can go ahead and put my Velcro on there and it's not super tight. Now I can take my second one and let's go to the other side and put it through two belt loops. So you don't have a belt pulling on the back, you don't have a belt buckle in the front, and you can pull these over, Velcro them wherever they are, wherever they land. That's comfortable because they are adjustable. So I've got one on each side. Believe it or not, that's very comfortable. Very comfortable. You don't have a buckle, and definitely going to keep your pants up. Keeps them nice and snug. It keeps them nice and snug back here too, instead of a belt pulling up on it. And you always have that belt where this loop in the back wants to tend to roll your belt over. You're not going to have that with these. It's very comfortable. I like it. So let me try sitting down. Oh yeah, much more comfortable than having a buckle right here. Oh, I like them. I'm going to make me a set of them. These are for my wife. She wanted these. She asked me to make them, but I'm going to make me a set. And I just thought of something. You could make these that'll work with holsters. That'd be great. You wouldn't have to wear a belt. You could just make this work, make it a little longer, stick it through your holster. You could wrap it around, pull your belt loops tight. I think it'd work very good. Look how easy they are to take off rather than a belt. And just Velcro, pull them right off. So that's what they look like put together. Again, you could stitch these by hand if you needed to. It wouldn't be that difficult. But those, I think, are going to come in real handy. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please come back, check out next week's. It'll be something different. And as I always say, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.